another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Sunday afternoon, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Now, I'm going to try my best to come back on here sometime later on this evening and do a full-fledged college football video when I've had more time to watch some of the games, because I had a wrestling show last night in Anderson for UCW called Fall Brawl. So I was gone from about 3 o'clock yesterday until about 12 o'clock this morning. So a lot of the noon stuff I've seen, but a lot of the afternoon, evening stuff I haven't seen. So I'm going to try to come on here later on this evening and do a full-fledged college football video. But if you'd love to leave some comments about it, feel free to go ahead and do it. This video is not going to be all about college football. I was going to do this video last night and then come on here tonight and do college football, but it was after midnight by the time I got home and got settled, and I thought that's just too late for a video, so I'll just do two Sundays. So here we go with video number 1. High school football scores in the area. As always, we start with North Georgia and Northeast Georgia. Hard to believe that it's October now, and the regular season wraps up Halloween weekend, so we have less than a month to go in high school football. Colquitt beat Valdosta 18-17. Hey there, Bolton. Glad to have you here. And hey there, I'm going to hope that's pronounced Brown. Glad to have you here. Appreciate that, Wayne. I'm glad you like the hat. Hey there, Sam. Glad to have you here. And I believe it's the first time I've seen any of y'all's names in the comment section. So if it's your first time being here, whatever made you stop by the channel today, I greatly appreciate it. And feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Share the video on all social media platforms. Tell your friends, tell your family about the channel. Appreciate the comment, Wayne, because this is my newest Clemson hat, so I try to only wear it on occasion. But for the most part, it's just my videos because it's white, and white gets dirty so easy. So I try to only wear it in my videos. Otherwise, I'm on here with the white hat with all these stains on it, but I will wear it out of the house occasionally. But my head sweats a lot, and nothing gets a white hat dirty faster than wearing it and sweating in it. And then to me, once you wash a hat a bunch of times, it's just not the same anymore. Asher, well, Bolton or Asher, whichever one you prefer to be called, glad to have you here on the channel. Now, Asher, if you are new to the channel is called Ref Brandon and the Todd Family. And of course, I would be Ref Brandon. And the Todd Family, of course, would be my wife and my kids. And as the kids get older and they're able to sit down and do videos by being still, we'll have more videos about the whole entire family. But for right now, Asher, it's mainly me, only because the kids aren't going to sit down more than 30 seconds. So there's no point in even trying to start a video with them because they're not going to make it through. Hey there, Joseph. Glad to have you here. And Bentley, I have no idea who that is. I've never watched Stray Kids, so I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but nevertheless, glad to have you here. And you're watching from Kenya, so glad to have you here from Kenya. I appreciate that. And Munemo, glad to have you here. And Jay, glad to have you here. And my wife, Asher, doesn't like sports. So if I just do a video talking about sports, she's not going to sit in on it. But we have done, a few videos here on the channel. If you go through the archives, you can find them with us being on vacation, doing different things, going to restaurants, being in the car talking, whatever. And then my wife and I, a couple years ago, did a video, just me and her sitting side by side, just answering random questions about each other, having some fun. But for the most part, until the kids get big enough to sit down and do a video, it's just me, but it's not supposed to be a me channel. It is a family channel. Good evening to you, Jay, wherever you're watching from. And Munemo's watching from Zimbabwe. So glad to have you here from Zimbabwe. And tell your friends, tell your family over in Zimbabwe about the channel. If you like football, baseball, basketball, racing, or wrestling, there's something here on the channel for you. Hey there, Crawl. Glad to have you here. Archer defeated Rockdale 38-14. West Forsyth beat Forsyth Central 42-41. And I'm going to hope that's BR14. I don't really have a favorite NFL team, and that's why I like talking NFL. And that's the good thing about me watching the NFL, because I don't really have a favorite NFL team. Now, don't get me wrong. Even the sports I pull for somebody, I never get my fandom in the way of being objective. When I watch these games, I always look at them objectively. I never look at games, even if a team I like is playing, and favor my team, because to me, sometimes that allows us as fans to be idiots because we don't look at things from a normal perspective, because we always want to favor our team, and it makes us get blinded by the harsh reality. So even when I pull for a team in a sport, when I watch that sport, I never look at things from a fan of a certain team. I always look at them with full transparency and full objectivity. But in the NFL, I've never had a favorite team. So when I watch an NFL game, I never care who wins and never care who loses. Now, some people say you can't watch a game and enjoy it unless you, even if you don't like a team, when the game starts, you automatically say, hey, I'm going to pull for this team, or I'm going to pull for that team because, I don't like that coach, or I like that coach, or I don't like their colors, whatever. So it makes you hate one side and love the other. And some people say you can't watch a game unless that's your attitude. I don't agree with that. I like the NFL because I love football. But when I watch it, I never care who wins and I never care who loses. So when I watch the NFL, it's good for me because I can watch any game anytime and never pull for anybody. So I never care who wins and never care who loses. So it helps me as a fan because I know that I'm never going to let my fandom, get in the way of reality, because I don't really have a team. I never have. I liked the Dolphins when I first started watching football because they had Dan Marino, but it was more so because I was a Dan Marino fan. And then once he retired, I didn't care anymore. But the NFL is the only sport where I've just never had a team that I've latched onto. NBA, I have a team. College, I have a team. Major League Baseball, I have a team. But for whatever, NASCAR, I've got a driver. But for whatever reason, NFL, I just never had a team that's caught my attention. I don't know why, they just haven't. And yes, EQ, Clemson did win yesterday. And BR14 in NBA, I'm a New Orleans Pelicans fan, which is bad to say because they've been flat out awful for about 5 years now. But when I first started watching the NBA almost 30 years ago, the what is now New Orleans Pelicans was the then Charlotte Hornets. And when I was growing up, me and my mother and my sister lived with my grandparents, and we didn't have cable or satellite, so all we had was regular TV. And where we lived at, we were in the Greenville, South Carolina market. So we had all the local TV channels out of Greenville, South Carolina. The Gamecocks didn't play yesterday, EQ. So all of our local TV channels came out of Greenville. And back in those days, Fox Carolina carried all the home games for the Charlotte Hornets because there's no professional basketball team in South Carolina. So for people in the Greenville market, the closest team to you was the Charlotte Hornets. So all the home games came on the Fox channel out of Greenville, South Carolina, which is the market we had. So if I wanted to watch basketball, I had to watch the Charlotte Hornets. That was the only channel we had, and they carried half their games, just the home games. And so I had to get a liking to them because there was nobody else to watch. And then they had a point guard back then named Muggsy Bogues who was 5'3", and you just didn't see NBA players that small. And I was always very tiny when I was in school, so I took a liking to somebody playing pro basketball being that size. So I liked Muggsy Bogues. I liked Larry Johnson. I liked Alonzo Mourning. I was 11 years old. I didn't have many other options. So I was a child. So that was the basketball I had. So I fell in love with the Charlotte Hornets. So when their franchise moved to New Orleans, I just stuck with them. I feel like when you are a fan of a team, you're a fan of a team. And I've always liked the now New Orleans Pelicans, then Charlotte Hornets, and they are flat out awful, but they're still my team. But thank you for asking, BR14 and EQ. I don't think South Carolina is gonna have a very good season, but I mean, I guess it depends on what you consider a good season for South Carolina. You know, for them, in my personal opinion, if they go 7-5 every year, they should be happy. South Carolina is not winning a national championship. It's not happening. If I'm a Gamecock fan, I'd be happier going 7-5 or maybe 8-4 every year than I would having a 9 or 10 win season and then coming back the next year and winning 5 games. I'd rather just be happier going 7-5, 8-4 every year. And I still think South Carolina can get to 6 wins this year, but that's about the most I see them getting. And Clemson EQ, I'm still not sure. You know, they played good yesterday, but North Carolina is absolutely awful. So, you know, they beat them like they should have beat them, but I don't know what it means for the future. But I know Dabo Swinney's going to turn the program around, turn the season around, and they're not going 2-10 or 3-9. But I don't know if they're going to win every game left and go 9-3. So from a Clemson perspective, whatever they finish this year, since it's not going to be 9-3 because they're not going to win out, will be a disappointment. But I don't think it's going to be a yearly thing. I think next year they'll be back on the right track. EQ, the reason why they can't fix this year is because, you know, I don't watch press conferences of any coach. Occasionally, if there's a coaching change from a program, I'll watch one. And occasionally before the season starts, I'll watch them just to hear what the coaches have to say and see if I can get a vibe on what they expect for the season. But as far as weekly press conferences, I never have. To me, they're a waste of time because coaches only tell you what they want you to hear. They're not going to tell you anything. So when the press conference is over, you feel like, well, that's an hour of my life I wasted, and I don't know anything more now than I knew an hour ago. They're a waste of time, but I've seen highlights of Dabo's last 3 press conferences on Tuesdays, and he's had 3 different attitudes all 3 times, which tells me that Dabo really isn't sure what the issue is. So you really can't fix the issue when you don't know what the issue is. If you can find the problem, you can fix it. But if you can't find the problem, you can't fix it. And, you know, the rumors all year long is that they've been absolutely fantastic in practice, played good in practice, and then for whatever reason, it's not translating to the game. And you can't tell me that it's coaching because with the exception of Tom Allen and then Ben Boulware, who's like a first year pretty much just helper on the linebacker side, all the coaches were there last year. And these issues weren't there last year. So the coaches didn't all of a sudden overnight forget how to coach. They were there last year. So you can't say too many new coaches because that's not true. And you can't say too many new players, because that's not true. And the new players they do have been the best players on the team so far. So what the issue is, really don't know. I've always, from day one, said it's Cade Klubnik. I've never been a Cade Klubnik guy. EQ, I've never understood the love for Cade Klubnik. The second he got the job from DJ, I was like, I'd rather have DJ. I've just never liked Cade Klubnik. To me, the whole entire issues with Clemson is Cade Klubnik. I feel like the offensive line doesn't trust Cade Klubnik. I feel like the play caller doesn't trust Cade Klubnik. I feel like the receivers don't trust Cade Klubnik. And when your whole entire offensive side of the ball doesn't trust the quarterback, it handcuffs the play calling, it handcuffs the wide receivers, it handcuffs the line. So I've said from day one that I believe the issues are Cade Klubnik. That's just my opinion. But if that is the issues, but he's still your best quarterback, there ain't a whole lot you can do. And Alabama won the game. BR14. Come back tonight when I'm going to do a full-fledged college football video. Buford beat Collins Hill 34-3. Mill Creek beat Decula 37-17. Gainesville beat Seconder 41-14. Jackson County shuts out Appalachia 67-0. Habersham Central beats Clark Central 43-22. Cale, in a scoring that you never see anymore in football, even high school level, defeats Blessed Trinity 3-0. And BR14, if you subscribe to the channel and find that bell and click on it, you should get notified whenever I do another video. So if you do that, then hopefully your bell will work right. And when I come back on here tonight, whatever time it is, your phone, tablet, TV, whatever you watch YouTube on should go off and notify you that Ref Brandon and the Todd family are live. East Forsyth beat Cedar Shoals 21-14. North Oconee beat Madison County 35-6. North Clayton beat Luella 45-38. Cherokee Bluff defeats West Hall 54-15. Oconee County beat East Hall 28-14. Jefferson beat Monroe Area 22-7. Franklin County beats East Jackson 34-7. Hebron Christian over Hart County 54-10. Prince Avenue beat Stevens County 55-17. Rabun County beat Commerce 55-28. Elbert County beat Providence Christian 43-9. And Heritage Conyers gets their first win this year by defeating Salem 50-20. Then a few scores across the upstate of South Carolina. Occasionally I'll give one that's not quite the upstate, but most of them are from the upstate. Crescent defeats Walhalla 67-20. Wren beat Emerald 45-44. Daniel defeats Berea 56-0. BHP shuts out West Oak 63-0. Palmetto beats Carolina Academy 28-0. Greenville defeats Easley 42-16. Rock Hill defeats Fort Mill 23-16. And Greenwood beats Malden 33-10. And BR14, I've always said, and I still say, that ever since the college football players started getting paid and the whole NIL thing, that high school football is the purest form of football left. So I love high school football. Now, even before it was legal to pay players, I still said that because I knew that there were certain programs and certain teams paying certain players illegally. So I still said it back then, but I say it even more now because now it's legal to pay those players. The high school football is the purest form of football left. So to me, if you want to sit back and just watch what you know is pure football. You watch high school, and especially for the kids, because a lot of these high school kids, and especially depending on the market you live in, if you live in a market where there's not a lot of high school football, then more than likely every one of those players you see are never going to play college football. So they know that as soon as they graduate high school, their football playing days are over. So when you watch them every Friday night, they're giving it all on every single play, because they know every play they run, they're one play closer to their careers being over with. So I love high school football, but BR14, I actually work part time in radio covering a high school football team. But I don't talk about that here on the channel. On here, I just like to give high school football scores. And I tell people, if you live in a market with high school football and you want me to give a shout out to your team, let me know. I'd love to do it. If you go to a high school football game, let me know. I'd love to give you a shout out. But all I do on here really is give scores, because since I cover high school football for the radio station on Friday nights, the only high school football that I actually see is the game that I'm covering. Everything else is scores, and then I can get on YouTube usually by Monday or Tuesday and find highlights of games. But there's only about 4 or 5 teams that actually put their whole entire games on YouTube. But you can go on there and watch highlights and scoring plays from just about anybody. Seneca beats Blue Ridge 47-13. Burns defeats Riverside 42-21. Woodruff beats Broome 49-10. Spartanburg beats Wade Hampton 48-14. Pendleton defeats Travelers Rest 45-20. Powdersville shuts out Southside Christian 24-0. Ware Shoals beats Whitmire 42-14. Greer beats Pickens 14-7. Gaffney defeats Eastside 40-35. Chesney defeats Blacksburg 48-19. Dorman 34. Boiling Springs 0. Clinton 49. Liberty 6. Fountain Inn 26. Lawrence 7. Woodmont 45. J.L. Mann 13. T.L. Hanna 32. Hillcrest 13. And West Side defeats South Side 55-0. Any thoughts on any of this? Please feel free to let me know. And I do want to come back on here this evening and do a college football video, but I try my best to not let a week go by and don't talk about high school football, because I love high school football. And I know a lot of people that feel the same way I do. I can recall a guy working in radio back when I was in middle school and high school that spent more time talking high school football than he did college or NFL. And he said that he always thought high school football was the best football there was. And the older I've gotten, the more I've understood why he felt the way he felt. But let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I bought my wife an expensive set of wind chimes. It was a pretty sound investment. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.